Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about chemical and physical properties and chemical and physical changes. They kind of go hand in hand, but they are slightly different. So the first thing we're going to talk about is properties of matter. So when we talk about a property, we're talking about characteristics or traits. So it's something that describes matter. So physical properties are characteristics of matter that can be changed without changing its composition, meaning I can determine that property without changing it. So a good example would be color. I can determine the color of something without changing that substance. I can determine the mass of something without changing that substance. So that would be a physical property. Chemical properties are characteristics that determine how the composition of matter changes as a result of contact with something else. So usually in order to do that, we need to completely change the substance as well. So here are some quick examples of physical properties. You'll notice every single one of these, in order to figure out these properties, we don't have to change that substance. I can look at that substance and it would be the shape of that substance. Whereas these chemical properties, you'll notice that if I determine the flammability of something, then I completely destroy that substance. It's not the same substance anymore. Now we can talk about changes. We also have physical and chemical changes. And you can think about it the same way, is changes alter the state or appearance of the matter without altering the composition. That is a physical change, meaning it is the same substance that I started with. Whereas your chemical changes, it completely changes that composition. With chemical changes, you usually talk about molecules rearranging or chemical reactions. But one thing to figure out when you're trying to determine physical and chemical changes is, do I have the same substance at the beginning? Do I have a different one at the end? If you have a completely new substance, it's a chemical change. So some examples of some physical changes. Heating water. When I heat water, it changes from a liquid into a gas, but it is still water. So that would be a physical change. Evaporating. Evaporating just means that I'm going from a liquid to a gas. It is still the same substance. Dissolving sugar in water. The sugar doesn't disappear and it doesn't change into something different. The sugar is still there. So that would also be a physical change as well. Chemical changes. It always involves a chemical reaction because it is a completely different substance in the end. So when I burn butane from a lighter, it is changed into carbon dioxide and water. It is a completely different substance. And then the other example there is silver combines with sulfur in the air to make tarnish. Notice how what I started with was silver and sulfur, but what I ended with was something completely new. That would be a chemical change. When we talk about phase changes are all chemical changes, because all we're doing is changing from a solid to a liquid, liquid to gas, liquid to a solid. All of these words, if you see these words, boiling, melting, subliming, freezing, condensing, those are all phase changes. Those are all physical changes because you still have the same substance in the end.